How you doing, folks? This is Sean McVay with Sean's Outdoor Adventures. If you follow my videos, you may be able to tell that my voice sounds a little different right now. I'm battling a cold. Um, and so that means I can't get out hunting right now. I'm trying to get over this because the rut is right around the corner. So it is time for me to do a little digital scouting to prepare for my next hunt. And in this situation, I just thought, you know what? Why not make a video to show you some of the things I do to do digital scouting and prepare for the next hunt. And hopefully, this will give you a couple ideas for when you want to get out and maybe hunt a new area you haven't been to. So right now, I have BaseMap open, and just talking with the people at BaseMap, they wanted to kind of sponsor my channel a little bit. Well, sure, thank you guys. And so if you use the link in the description section of this video to download this app and try it out, it's free. They give me $1. So hey, let's support the cause. Let's check out BaseMap, and they'll give me $1 for that. So let's open up BaseMap. Right here is I want to look at the state of Ohio. This is a good state for buck hunting, for deer hunting, and it's just been growing in popularity over the years. And so right now, I have nothing necessarily turned on. I want to find out though, where are the public land. So I'm going to go into my layers option over here, and right now it has a Google image for which map I'm using. I want to switch to the hybrid because it's going to show me when I zoom in. It's going to show me topo lines. And as far as land, let's go into we want to see public land. I do like turning on the trail maps because sometimes you're gonna have trails on public land, and it's good to see where they're at. So here we go. Here's hunting. Let's go down and click on Ohio right there. I'm looking at deer, so let's turn on the management units. All right, so now we're looking at counties. We've got all kinds of stuff popping up here. This is going to help us in our scouting. So let's zoom in here, and I'm just scrolling on my mouse over here to zoom in. All right, so here we have some public land. It's shaded in the darker green here, and I don't have one of those nifty record your screen things right now, so I apologize for that. But I can zoom in with my camera to get you a little closer once I pick a spot. So now when I'm digitally scouting, I've never been here. What do? I don't know the food. I don't know the bedding as of right now. So what I like to do when I'm especially dealing with public land is I look for any kind of fields in the area. So here I have public land, and right along here I have some fields. Let me just zoom in on the screen a little bit. So as you can see, I got all this public land, but right here I have some fields. Let's focus our attention on this for a minute. Let's just drag this over and zoom in. All right, now that I'm zoomed in, I can tell this is probably not crop fields, not agriculture. So that's not as big of a draw for the deer or the animals. However, it is still going to draw them. They're going to be out here eating like the different types of clover and stuff. Also pre-rut. They're going to be out there sparring, which is right now we're kind of getting near the end of October. So, especially right in here, let's say that, right in here, there's some kind of a structure right here, a building, could be a house. But over in here, there's kind of a quiet pocket. This right here, the topo lines show a hilltop right there, so that's the highest point. So a lot of times deer are going to come out in the corners of fields. They're going to come right off of the cusp of that high point. Right here is going to be a prime entry area into this field right here. So now I also have a nice big draw coming up into the field. So this kind of area right in here, that might be an area I want to focus on as far as a travel corridor coming up to the field in the evening. Obviously, I'm going to need a south wind or a west wind to really hunt this if the deer are kind of funneling through this area coming up to that field. So for a public land hunt, I want to analyze this stuff. Here's another little draw that kind of comes up. Deer can come right up here and hook into that field. So right in here, this is the area, if I'm planning an evening hunt, I want to really try to hone in on here to find a setup. Now, the other question is, how am I going to get into this spot? Well, it looks like the public land comes down and goes across the road, so I can park over here, and then I can work my way up. There's a band of public land right here, and a little chunk of private there. There's a band though that goes through now, but if I walk right through here, I'm going to push all the deer out. So what are my other options? I can knock on these doors and say, hey, do you mind if I access back in here through your land? Or I could also do that from over here. You can see there's some hiking trails through here. There's also an old cut area here. You can see the line from that. Now that's going to create a travel corridor right there along that cut line, and enhancing it. Here's a draw that goes up right here. So I'm not seeing an access to that point for an evening spot that isn't going to, potentially push the deer out. So let's abandon that idea right now. I'm starting to like this right here. So here's a cut line from a clear cut they had done many years ago. That's going to be creating a travel corridor, and here is a draw right here on the edge of it. So coming up right in the draw, and here's a little spur that sticks out right here, right where I'm pointing, right there. That could be a hot spot because you could get movement along this line here, but also right in here. So let's mark a point here. Let's add a marker. And I want to put that right there. Okay, now I can name that possible stand 1. And I'm going to save it. Now I can, change this all. I've got different options here. Come down to hunting. And this is going to be a possible tree stand, so I'm going to click that and save it. So now I've got possible stand 1. Yeah, so let's zoom in. So we see here, right here is that transition line, and then right across here, right where that spur comes out, deer like to hug. Sometimes they like to hug on the high hillside of those spurs if it's a travel corridor like that. So that's where I want to put that tree stand. Now there is a hiking trail over here. It's not terribly far away, but it's I don't think that's going to impact the deer movement on this location right here. Yeah, there's a lot of hiking activity over this way, so let's explore over here. All right, now there is some types of fields over here. There's some more over here. Zoom in on this one. This one looks like a hay field. You could actually see the hay bales out there. That's going to be, definitely having clover type stuff in it. Now, coming off of this hay field, there is a draw right here that goes up the hill, right there. There's a lot of times that before daylight, deer are going to leave the fields, especially a good buck, and he's going to head up for bedding. And when there's a high point, a lot of times they'll go high for bedding. And especially out east, like Ohio, Pennsylvania, they a lot of times will walk the edge of these draws to go up to bed on the south and southeast facing slope to catch that thermal in the morning when the hillside heats up. So for a morning sit, let me put a marker right here. This is a spot I want to look at for a possible morning sit right there. Now how am I going to access that? If the deer are here, how can I get to this point? The public land comes down to the road over here. I could probably park here and then hike my way up over and then come in for a morning sit. There's also a possibility of deer coming out of these fields here, coming up to draw. This whole area right in here could be a focal point for possible bedding for a morning spot, coming up on and bedding even on the edge of these draws right here. So I could really, realistically, I could say to myself, I actually want to check out each of these, the tops of these draws for a morning to see if there's any kind of bedding going on there. If I got a chance to scout that out, I will. That's something I'd rather do early in the season. But if I'm going in blind, like this actual hunt, then that's something I'll probably want to, just get up in there in the morning in the dark and pick out the best spot I can. And maybe the first sit would be an observation sit, or I might even get a deer. You just never know. So now let's pick out some more evening spots, because let's say if I'm hunting for a couple days, I want to have a few options for in the morning and a few for in the evening. Let's focus in on this, because if I have a south wind or if I have a north wind, that's when I would want to try to look at this. A north wind's going to be blowing down, and if this is a primary food source that the deer might head to, they might want to loop around and come in from the downwind side. But if they're traveling this way, I might be able to stay downwind of them on the approach on their way there. So right here, there's like a ridge that runs across. And what I'd like to maybe check out is if I can slip in from here, come along the edge of the public land here, and come up in here and try to catch deer movement coming around this ridge to get around here and enter this on a day when we have a north wind. I'm going to want to try to check out this spot right in here. Now the reason why I picked that is there is a draw that kind of comes up in there, which you could possibly catch movement coming up or down the draw, but you're also going to see movement. A lot of times deer, when they travel the tops of one of these ridges, they do it on the very edge where they can kind of see down the hillside, which is what this part right here gives me. It also helps you in that evening thermal when you're down on the hill a little bit, when you're not at the very top. So I'm going to keep playing around and looking around for some more morning and evening setups, but something like this, it's really easy to use. You can mark your waypoints, and this translates directly onto my phone. Actually, let me pull my phone out. And so these waypoints that I've been putting in for Ohio, right here, let me zoom out a minute. So now I have my phone. I'm zooming in with my phone, and as you can see, those waypoints are right there on my phone automatically. I put them in on my computer where I have my nice big screen. So anytime I, on either device, put in a waypoint or make an adjustment, it automatically syncs, which is nice. So now if I'm actually in the field and I want to move one of these waypoints around when I'm on site, it's going to automatically get saved. There's so many different things you can do with this. I mean, this isn't a tutorial on how to use it all because there's so many things. I just want to encourage you, if you want to do some digital scouting before you go to a location, something like this is a great option. And I want to say thanks to the people over at BaseMap for letting me check out their stuff, but also supporting my channel, Sean's Outdoor Adventures. Those of you who download this app and even use the free version, they give me a little kickback. So thanks for that. Now, if you've been following my videos, you know I'm giving away a brand new Matthews compound bow, either a Vertex or a Traverse. The winner gets to pick. I'm also giving away an XOP tree stand and a Sharpple broadhead sharpener. And the way that I'm running this giveaway is I'm putting a little scripture verse in each of my videos. On December 1st, I'm going to actually call somebody live and say what was the scripture verse from a particular episode. The registration for that's going to be at the end of November, so stay tuned. I'll make an announcement when it's time. But those people who do register, I'm going to pick somebody, call them live, and if I was to pick this video on digital scouting, the exact title I give it, I'll say, hey, what was the scripture verse from that particular episode? So the scripture verse for this episode is Matthew chapter 20 verses 1 through 16. That's Matthew chapter 20 verses 1 through 16. Again, I'm Sean McVay with Sean's Outdoor Adventures. Thanks for tuning in to this episode, and thanks for all of you who check out this app and download it to your phone or your device or your computer using the link that I provided. I appreciate that, and I hope you enjoy checking out BaseMap. Until next time, take care and God bless.